Not like that.
Well,
it's just not fun anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, I hope you can get back to a place where it's fun again.
It was this weekend. Last weekend I was performing.
Okay, so it's really a show for show thing.
Well, because they weren't there, and I got to get all these demons out.
What are you doing now to change?
I was at the Comedy Store the other night. I went up at 1:00. So, I'm trying to go up later.
We try to make an agreement that you won't bump people just to teach them a lesson?
Yeah, you know what? That's something that I've seriously, like, you know what I mean?
All right.
Considered. And just recently, it's like I've been going to the store much later, doing a half hour instead of longer, but going on at 1:00 in the morning. But you know what? If you were to call Tommy, the Comedy Store guy, he will tell you that even within the past year or two, when I show up, he goes, "Listen, is it okay if John Caparillo and this guy and that guy go on before you? Because if you bump them, they're going to piss you off."
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, you did. You did that. You waited for me to go on once.
The last time you were there, I was like, I was like, I'm not bumping him.
Good. I appreciate that, and that you're very highly aware of the stealing thing, so you're ultra sensitive to that stuff.
I'm ultra sensitive, but like
in terms of like you double check now with people if you think you got a bit.
Yeah, I called. Who did I call the other day? I called the comedian the other day, and I was like, hey. I did this thing on stage. Is that Johnny Sanchez?
Oh, yeah.
I called up Johnny, and I'm like, do you do something like this?
What did he say?
And he was like, well, this is what I do. And I was like, well, before you do, let me tell you what I did.
Yeah.
So that you can understand
what happened?
And he was like, no, that's really not my bit. And I was like, oh, okay. Because that one, I did go. As soon as I did it, I said, I've heard that shit before.
Yeah.
I've heard that somewhere. That's not an original.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound or feel like an original thought to me.
I know what that feels like to have that thought.
I was like, oh, what the fuck was that? And then I went, Johnny Sanchez. You know what I mean? So I called him that night when I got off stage, and, it was whatever. It was, yeah, I mean, I'd work it out with any of these guys. But what I realized this morning, that it's not about them. You know what I mean? I shouldn't do things for them. I should do things for me. And when I get off stage at the Comedy Store or any of those places, after doing a long time, and I just run, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good that I know that I bumped people. It doesn't feel good that I know that I fucked up somebody's night. It doesn't feel good that you left.
Yeah.
Having that been your show.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel good. It doesn't make me happy. It doesn't turn me on. It does when it's those pieces of shit.
Okay.
That does.
All right, so
but it makes me look like a fucking asshole. And you know what? Whatever they think of me, I shouldn't do that to them. Because as much as they're trying to ruin my livelihood by putting it out to everyone in the world that my art is shit and nobody should buy it, that even though all these guys want to take not just the comedy, but, my livelihood. Some of these guys would be happy to take my livelihood. It doesn't condone me doing the same to them by performing so long that they don't get to perform in front of, a decent audience and get that comedy time that they should get. And in that respect, I do take responsibility for that. And for that, I am sorry that I'm doing the same shit, just in a different way to them. And I just don't want to be that person anymore. To anybody that feels, harmed by me, I do apologize, man. For anybody that I've actually harmed in this business on the way to wherever I am. Yeah, to you, I apologize. I mean, you never did anything to me to deserve that. Ever. I mean, never. And, I just always felt like the fucking whole world was against me, bro. And if I seemingly absorb somebody's shit without knowing it, like I said, I'm hypersensitive to it. I can't imagine that I would without being somewhat aware of, of certain jokes. But if anybody believes that it's their joke, that's the one joke that you think is going to take you to the top, or that one joke that you think is going to get you
Write
on
some
TV.
new jokes.
No, man, call me. You know what I mean? Call me and I'll drop it. I swear to God.
All right.
I mean, listen.
Yeah.
I can write new shit.
Okay.
I can think of new stuff.
All right.
But don't
slander you behind your back.
Well, just come up to me, man.
I think that's right. I think
come up to me and say,
someone
you
steals
took
from
my
you.
shit.
Right. That's the way it should be handled.
You know what I mean?
Between the guy who feels like he's been stolen from and the guy who he thinks stole it.
Yeah, and, you know, if at that point I'm an asshole, then go for it.
Yeah, go talk about me.
Yeah, go say he's a piece of shit. It was one fucking joke, and that was it. You know what I mean? Do that. But, you know, the internet thing and it's just gotten to the point where it's ridiculous. And this morning, I really did let it go. I guess I really do want to be perceived as a nice guy until I get pissed off.
And as a good comic.
Yeah. It's hard for me to fucking give in to that because it brings in so much pain, bro.
All right. Well, let's not do it. Let's just say,
you know what I'm saying?
I think you've
but I do want people to know that I feel that pain. I do, you know, that
I felt it for a couple minutes.
Yeah, and then I get out of it.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, you don't want to live in it. That's why we're comics.
Right. That's, I know, but you know what I'm saying. It's like I go there and I'm like, fuck, man, I'm that guy.
It's overwhelming. Yeah.
I'm the fucking, and it's not like Robin Williams. It's not like Milton Berle.
It's something different.
This is like
it is
people that don't know comedy. On the other hand, I want, especially comics at the Comedy Store who don't like me, I really want you to know this. Seriously, I have a couple of friends who want to come and beat the shit out of you. For real. Like, fuck you up. And I tell them not to. Because, for whatever reason, let me not interpret my own behavior. But I will tell you that a few comics who are like, dude, I just want to go to the Comedy Store, bro. I just want to go to the Comedy Store, and I know the guys, and I'm just going to knock them the fuck out and tell them to stop. And I'm like, nah, bro, that's not what I want. That's not who I am. That's, you know, I may be a dick on stage, but that's not why I am. So, like, I want those people to know that, you know, despite of what you think, I have, you know, stopped bad shit from happening. There is a line, so to speak, you know, that I won't cross. I've never been confronted like this about why I go on stage for so long. And I've never wanted to because it's ugly. But I'm glad that that mirror was pointed in my direction because, you know, that's some shit that I shouldn't do, regardless of who's going on before or after me.
Thanks, Carlos. Where does this all leave us? I mean, after talking to him and you know, talking to him the first time where I felt like I was being played a little bit and he was presenting me with a fairly well-honed defense of his particular situation as he sees it, and then having him back into the garage to answer more specifically to certain claims. There were two different things going on in those interviews. I mean, clearly he was waffling. He was going in and out of anger, contrition, some guilt, trying to explain himself. There's something at the core of this guy where he obviously feels bad somewhere in there about a lot of things, yet he tries to justify it. Is he a sociopath? I don't know. Do we all have sociopathic qualities? If you look at, you know, the definition of antisocial disorder, most comics have a few of them. Yeah, certainly self-centeredness, grandiosity, occasionally the inability to empathize or to have a conscience. I mean, this stuff is all percolating, you know, in Mencia. But the interesting thing to me is that this guy is he's wired differently. Did he steal? I think so. I mean, you can make your own opinion. Did he know he did? I don't know. But this is a guy who we talked to initially that his first experience doing stand-up was from a joke book. His first impulse was to, I don't know how to do this. I'm funny. I want to be